We're back on the Artie Lange Show with Captain Keith Colburn from Deadliest Catch. And we've got Jim Norton, kind enough to guest host tonight while Artie is recuperating. So, Captain Keith, you are now in what season on Deadliest Catch?
Season 10.
This is, wow.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, this is a pretty popular show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, most reality shows make it like, they're like, I hate to say it, like, NFL players, maybe
Yeah,
3-4
sadly,
years at best.
right.
Do you hate when you see knockoffs trying to do what it is you guys do? Like other shows that are stealing your idea?
Yeah, like almost all of them out there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, think about it. Let's take like a handful of guys, put them in the worst conditions possible, the worst environment, the worst weather. Let's not feed them. Let's make them work like all day long.
Yeah.
And then let's see what happens. It's like putting 5 rats in a maze with one little chunk of cheese.
Yeah.
Things are going to go sideways fast.
Just the fact that they're actually stealing the idea of being a crab. It's like, come on, man. That's such they have no dignity at all. They'll just rip off the idea and hope that people don't know that it's not your show. That's what they're doing. They're just hoping people luck up on another show.
Yeah, but, at the end of the day, you can't recreate a 30-foot wave.
Yeah.
You can't recreate, a foot of ice building on the boat in less than 24 hours. And, and you really can't recreate the amount of pain and suffering and misery the guys go through to harvest it.
What's the closest you've ever come or seen someone come to dying?
That's, we'll put it this way, and it's kind of a bad subject, but, when you first start fishing in the Bering Sea, you've been there too long when you start to know somebody that's didn't come home.
Really?
And pretty soon it gets to be more and more and more and more. And it becomes acquaintances. It becomes guys you sat at the bar and drank with. It becomes whole boatloads of guys that went down.
Does that happen a lot? Like boats just don't come back?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we've been fortunate for the last, 5-6 years. We've done pretty well. This year, not so good. That's one of the things you're going to see on TV. They had some pretty major issues pop up. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But that's a reality. That's a show. That's a very dangerous, legit. Like, they try to create drama on shows. And your show kind of does not really need that because there really is the threat of having a finger ripped off or of dying. And it's a threat. You don't need drama to be built into your what you do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why it's popular. And the other thing is, it's been on for 10 years, too. I mean, they started as a documentary. So, and they've got crowd captains.
Is that how it...
Oh, literally, they just were out there going, hey, let's see what we find out. Let's just film these guys and see what happens. And they're like, holy smokes, man.
Yeah.
It was really intense. So then they started improving, the audio. They started improving the film work. They started, bringing in a chase boat to film the boats from the side. They bring in a helicopter before each season, and they film us around the harbor and doing stuff. So they've got some, aerial footage. I mean, every year it just gets better and better and better. And every year, they get more and more in tune to, covering the little stories, because a lot of times it's the little stuff that turns into big stuff. Mm-hmm. And, and of course, because they're producers, they love to, anytime they can stir the pot, they try.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about how much of the drama between boats, how much of the competitiveness between boats is played up, or is it pretty cutthroat?
Well, I can guarantee you this. Every time I've yelled on TV, I've been legitimately pissed off. I don't care if it's my brother or the captain on the boat next to me. It's like, hey, it's the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't need to...
Yeah.
They don't need to play me up any more than I give them way too much ammunition already. Yeah, come on. I'll probably have hate mail again tonight, but screw it. I don't care.
Do you get hate mail?
Oh, yeah, I've had death threats. The works.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For animal rights people and
Oh, hey, we're like NASCAR drivers, man. I love boat A. I hate boat B.
Yeah. Right,
that's his rival. So, if they play A and B going at it, then next thing you know, oh my God, you get these nut jobs all around the U.S. sending you emails saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to find you. It's like, yeah, well, guess what? If you find me, odds are you're not going to do real well.
Yeah. What about, do you guys, so along with the death threats, do you guys get groupies, like showing up dockside?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We get people show up in Dutch Harbor.
Wow.
I mean, that's an expensive plane ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
I mean,
say.
it's $2,000 just to get from Seattle to Dutch and back.
That's so great too. If you go home, no one would ever say, "What's that smell?" They're like, "I was working." You know?
Well, that's the thing. We used to be safe in Dutch Harbor, man. It was like our last bastion of, we can go to work, right?
Yeah.
And we're fine. But now, we've got people show up periodically, and it's granted, it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, these people love the show, and but sometimes they think they're part of your family. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, because they know you. They feel
Oh,
they
yeah.
know you so well.
Yeah.
They hang out with you every week.
Every Tuesday night.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible.
You let someone in your life that much, and all of a sudden they do feel really a weird familiarity, and you have no idea who they are or what their beef with you might be. Sometimes radio people are like that too, because there's hours every day, and then they'll write you an email, and you're like, "Wow, this guy hates my guts," and I've never met him.
Yeah, and it's weird. I think the best analogy or the best thing I ever saw was, and I had this gal and her son was probably 4 years old, right? Came to me at this appearance I was doing at a grocery store, and she goes, "Hey, he's got a question for you." And I go, "Okay, what's the question?" And he's like really shy, And finally he spits it out. He's like, "How do you get out of the box?" The box, like the TV. Right? Yeah.
Wow.
So I concocted something about crawling out the backside of the box or whatever. But, in reality, I mean, think about it. People get so tuned in to what's on that screen that it becomes their life.
Yeah.
And they become, and don't get me wrong. I mean, there's great fans out there. I've met some amazing people that are really into the show. And, but there's a handful out there that you don't really want to hang out with.
Do you feel a certain level of like responsibility with like what we're talking about? I know when we had a huge deal for me, we had Ralph Macchio come on this show, and Ralph Macchio to me, the Karate Kid, I felt like I grew up next to him, and I was rooting for him, and the Outsiders. I just felt. I feel like he recognized just how much he meant to me or something, because I was all gaga over him, and he really took it in stride. Like, he was really cool about it and just kind of like let me in a little bit and made me feel like, I don't know, like he kind of liked me too, which I'm sure he could have cared less. Do you feel some sort of responsibility to just like let them in a little bit and make them, I don't know, because they feel like you're their uncle, you're tough, like their tough uncle that never visits?
And are you offended that he's comparing you to the Karate Kid?
Yeah, no.
Wax on, wax off. Yeah.
He was tough, man. Daniel.
I think anybody that gets and, puts themselves in front of a camera that, literally is on TV has a responsibility. Mm-hmm. Okay? I mean, especially if you're in a show where people are looking up to you, I mean, there's people that say, "Oh, man, you're like a hero." It's like, no, I'm a fisherman. But, yeah, you've got a responsibility to everybody out there. And, and it's trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, that's not easy. I mean, you've had a long day. You're sitting down. You're eating, dinner with your kids at a restaurant. Somebody just literally pulls a chair up and sits down with you, and they're oblivious to your kids because they're starstruck. I mean, it's really weird. I mean, I never thought that, and I've been starstruck before, but I never thought that something like that would happen to, a bunch of knucklehead fishermen from Alaska.
It is pretty amazing. The response. Really, I mean, the worldwide response to your show is...
Oh, it's worldwide, too. I mean, I've been in Slovakia and had people come up to me. I've been literally in Morocco near the Sahara Desert and had a guy in a turban come up to me.
Wow.
I mean, it's crazy that it goes all the way around the world. I mean, it's 150 some odd countries now.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that huge. I knew it was huge. But we got to take a break. Back with Captain Keith Colburn after this. So here we are back at the Artie Lange Show. John Ritchie here. We got Jim Norton co-hosting tonight, filling in for Artie, who is sick. And we've got Captain Keith Colburn. You were just telling us about meeting Robert Kennedy Jr. on a plane.
Yeah.
And that led to skiing with Franz Glammer.
In Vail.
in Vail. This was just 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
How does this all happen?
Well, it happened last summer. I met Robert Kennedy Jr. on a plane, and he's a big fisheries advocate. I mean, on the East Coast, huge. Not only in Washington D.C. but in New York, Boston, and
Oh, okay.
And so we started talking. We had a lot in common. He says, "You got to come by the compound."
Wow.
I'm thinking, there's like one house in America that's like the most famous residence
Sure.
in the U.S. And I got an invitation. So
Wow.
I rode my bicycle down the coast of Maine and then got to Cape Cod and, called him. He said, "Yeah, come on by."
Jeez.
So I came by, spent the night, and then he invited me to his foundation has a thing for Waterkeeper Alliance that's in Utah, and I skied there. And skiing there, I met Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad, and we skied one day together. And he said, "You got to come to Vail." So then I ended up in Vail skiing with Giancarlo and Franz Blommer.
Jeez.
So, yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of strange, I mean,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, it's kind of crazy, You're on TV and people open a few more doors,
You
I
make
guess.
good connections. I sat next to Nicolas Cage on a plane once. I asked for a picture, and he went, "No."
It's paying off. I mean, the skiing's paying off for you. Like, how many other captains ski too? That seems like it's a little bit different world type thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but I grew up skiing in Lake Tahoe, so.
Are you
I
from
love to ski.
Tahoe?
Yeah, I'm from Tahoe.
Yeah. Do you snowboard now?
No, and that's the thing is I actually a couple of my buddies, and when snowboards first came out, they were like banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't even literally.
Right.
It was like they saw you with a snowboard. It's like, oh my god, that guy is like But
They
so,
push all the snow into big heaps, and they're
yeah,
faster.
but some of my buddies actually went on to be pretty serious snowboarders and made a pretty good living off of it too. Tom Burt did really well.
Who?
There's a kid named Tom Burt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this is like the forefathers of snowboarding.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I skied when I was a kid.
I try to ski too. I thought you said Burton.
No,
I was going to say,
no.
man. I mean,
okay.
he made it.
Yeah, he did okay.
He did all right for
Yeah.
himself. Yeah. So that I mean, it really does seem disparate. I mean, you're a captain of a massive vessel in Alaska, and then it seems like a kind of a fun country club activity to go and ski, and it just doesn't seem like it meshes. It seems like you're doing a lot out there, both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I mean everybody just most guys that are like crab captains. They got the big car, the big truck. They got the
I would
they got
imagine.
the Harley.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm kind of an anomaly. I ride bicycles instead of Harleys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That is.
I don't
that
got the
is
big
different.
truck. I got it. I got like 6 sets of skis. I like to ski. Yeah.
That's cool.
You're not really happy unless you're risking something. You seem to like a whole your job is extremely dangerous. In skiing, you could break both legs. Like that's a pretty horrifying.
Oh,
thing to do.
I've busted up both knees.
You
What
have.
about?
Yeah, I can't ski the way I used to.
Now, when you started skiing, obviously people weren't wearing helmets. Now everyone wears helmets when they ski. Do you wear one?
Oh, absolutely.
Or do you look at that as like a sissy thing?
No. I wear a helmet. I started wearing a helmet because when I started teaching my kids to ski, I wanted them to wear a helmet. So I was setting a good example, and it's the same thing on my boat. For years it was like so, like life jackets. Oh, come on, man. But back then, when I first started fishing, the life jacket was like the old Mae West. It's like these big 2 giant inflatables on your chest.
Yeah.
There's no way you could work in that. But today, the life jackets are streamlined. They're inflatables. They, automatically hydrostatic release. So now, all my guys wear life jackets. I do everything I can to be as safe as possible in everything I do. When I ride bikes, of course I wear a helmet.
Yeah.
How high are those waves coming over the boat? Like, have you seen anybody get knocked off the boat? I just threw in 2 questions.
Knocked off the boat, not on my boat, no.
Do they live? Do they get them back?
It's a
Touch and go, I guess.
50-50 proposition.
Wow. That low?
If you go in the water without a life jacket, your odds are way below 50%.
And the water's what, like 30 degrees?
30 degrees.
Wow.
Which means you got about 2 minutes before your blood starts rushing to your organs
Yeah.
as a defense mechanism to keep you alive, and so you can't use your arms or your extremities.
Really?
So you can't even keep your head above water after 2 minutes. And it takes us about 3 to 5 minutes to make a loop to get the guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Have you ever gone in?
That's a sad thing. I've been in the water, yeah.
But just to see what it was like?
No, I've been in the water.
You've fallen in while you were crabbing?
Oh yeah, I've almost been yanked over the boat. I've been in the bite. I've tore up my ankle. I've ripped my fingers apart.
Wow.
All that stuff.
What's the most common way guys will fall off a boat?
The most common way is called getting in the bite. We're throwing the pot over, 800-pound objects, sinking fast, all this line attached to it. Then we're throwing the line and the buoys over. Guy gets tangled up in the line.
Yeah.
That's number one.
And that's happened to you?
Yeah, but I didn't go over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was lucky.
So when guys go over, they have an 800-pound thing pulling them down.
Attached to their leg, yeah.
And how deep is the thing being pulled down?
Anywhere from 300 to 1,000 feet deep.
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine? Yeah. Jeez.
No, I don't want to imagine. That's why I have nightmares at night, okay?
Yeah, do you?
Yeah,
You have
I
nightmares?
do imagine. Oh, absolutely.
I'll bet.
There isn't a captain out there that doesn't have PTSD.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because, I mean, literally, we're trying to keep guys alive.
Yeah.
Our whole goal is keep guys alive. We keep these guys alive.
It is life and
we're gonna
death
make
every
money.
day.
Yeah,
Man.
you get freaked out thinking about that all the time.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, more, we got to take a break, but more PTSD. Man, life and death on the Bering Sea.
And we have a few good days, too, though.
Yeah, I guess so, because you keep coming back for more. But we'll be back. We'll be back after this. We're back on the Artie Lange Show. We got Captain Keith Colburn here from Deadliest Catch. Jim Norton is hosting tonight in place of Artie. Artie, get better. Captain Keith, it's been awesome talking to you.
Hey, we didn't talk about one thing.
What's that?
What's with this?
The Super Bowl?
Denver Broncos Super Bowl poster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who put that
I see
there.
there's a lot of zeros on it, right?
Yeah.
I gotta put in a plug for the 12th man in Seattle Seahawks, all
Okay,
right?
so you're a Seahawks fan, huh?
Yeah, I just want to give
They're pretty
everybody
good,
up in
man.
Seattle, yeah.
I'll tell you, when I was coming out in the draft in 1998, Pete Carroll was the head coach of the Patriots. And, man, he, at the Combine, he pulled me aside one night, talked to me for probably an hour and a half. Just the coolest guy in the world. And I wanted to go play for the Patriots. Like, I thought Pete Carroll was where it was at. And, of course, he got fired a bunch of times before he really caught on at USC and then, of course, in Seattle. But, man, the coolest coach in the world. And he deserves all the credit that he gets.
He's a player's coach.
Absolutely.
He's in the trenches. He's the player's coach.
And they're going to be good for the next until they have to pay Russell Wilson a lot of money. They're going to be really good. I think they have a great chance to win it all this year. So you got
they got to get through the 49ers first.
That's true. And that's going to be even more heated rivalry this year. Did you see they got Terrell Pryor today?
Oh, no,
Terrell Pryor. They traded for Terrell Pryor from the Oakland Raiders.
It's nice to have the football player and the fishing boat captain, two men discussing things while I sit here and I shift around in my panties.
Yeah, sorry.
You can bring up kinky boots again.
Captain Keith, when does the Deadliest Catch season premiere happen? When are we looking for it?
Tomorrow night, man. Tuesday.
Tomorrow night.
It's a 2-hour premiere. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm not just selling this.
Right.
It's going to be really cool. And tune in an hour early, 8 o'clock Eastern, for the bait.
All right.
It's basically a pregame show.
Sounds great.
And
Captain Keith Colburn.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.